The sterile beep of the heart monitor pierced the quiet hospital room, pulling Alex back from the edge of sleep. His body ached from the accident that had shattered his leg and ribs, but it was the man in scrubs entering the room that truly jolted him awake. Ethan, the night shift nurse, moved with a quiet efficiency that had become Alex's anchor in this endless haze of pain and recovery. His eyes lingering just a second too long on Alex's face before he turned to check the 4-drip. Alex had been in St. Mary's Hospital in Chicago for 3 weeks now, ever since that rainy night when a drunk driver had sideswiped his car on the interstate. He was a 28-year-old graphic designer, used to the fast-paced life of the city, sketching logos for startups and sipping coffee in trendy cafes. But now, confined to this bed, his world had shrunk to the 4 walls of room 412, where the only constant was Ethan's visits. Ethan was 30, with a kind face framed by short dark hair and a build that spoke of weekend hikes rather than gym obsessions. He was openly professional, but there was something in the way he adjusted Alex's pillows or asked about his day that felt personal, almost intimate. Their conversations started innocently enough. "How's the pain today?" Ethan would ask, his voice steady and reassuring. Alex would joke about the hospital food being worse than his cooking, and Ethan would laugh, a soft, genuine sound that cut through the isolation. As nights blurred into one another, they shared more. Alex talked about growing up in a small Midwest town, escaping to the city to chase his dreams, and the loneliness that came with it. Ethan opened up about his nursing school days, the long hours, and how he chose this career after watching his grandmother battle cancer. But there were gaps in Ethan's stories, silences when Alex probed about his personal life. One evening, as Ethan changed the bandages on Alex's leg, their hands brushed accidentally. Alex felt a spark, a warmth that wasn't from the pain meds. He looked up, catching Ethan's gaze, and for a moment, the room felt charged. "You ever feel like life's just passing you by in here?" Alex asked, his voice low. Ethan paused, his fingers lingering on the tape. "All the time," he replied. "But sometimes, the people you meet make it worth it." It was the first hint of something deeper, but Ethan quickly busied himself with the chart, avoiding Alex's eyes. As Alex's recovery progressed, so did their bond. Ethan started bringing little things, a magazine on design trends, a cup of decent coffee from the staff lounge. Alex noticed how Ethan's shifts always seemed to align with his needs, how he'd stay a few minutes extra after his rounds. But there were tensions brewing outside the hospital bubble. Alex's best friend, Jamie, visited one day and raised an eyebrow at Ethan's attentiveness. "He's cute," Jamie whispered. "You two got something going on?" Alex shrugged it off, but inside he wondered. He was out and proud, having come out in college, but Ethan? There were no rings, no mentions of girlfriends or boyfriends, just a careful neutrality. Then came the night that shifted everything. A storm raged outside, thunder shaking the windows. Alex woke from a nightmare about the crash, sweating and disoriented. Ethan was there in seconds, his hand on Alex's shoulder. "Hey, it's okay. You're safe." Alex grabbed his hand, holding on tight. "Stay with me? Just for a bit." Ethan hesitated, glancing at the door, but he sat on the edge of the bed. They talked until dawn, about fears, dreams, the what-ifs of life. Ethan shared how his conservative family back in Texas expected him to settle down, start a family. "They don't know everything about me," he admitted softly. Alex's heart raced. Was this it? But as the sun rose, Ethan stood abruptly. "I should go. Rounds start soon." The next day, Alex couldn't shake the conversation. He watched Ethan more closely, noting the way his smile faltered when a colleague joked about finding a nice girl. Society's expectations weighed heavy in the air, unspoken but palpable. Alex knew the struggles, discrimination at work, judgmental stares, the fear of rejection. But for Ethan, it seemed deeper, tied to his roots. That evening, Alex decided to test the waters. "Ethan, about last night. Do you ever think about what you really want?" Ethan's face paled. "Alex, I can't. Not here. Not like this." He left the room quickly, leaving Alex staring at the ceiling, heart pounding with a mix of hope and confusion. Over the following days, the tension built. Ethan was still attentive but distant, professional to a fault. Alex pushed gently, sharing stories of his own coming out, the freedom it brought despite the hardships. "It's scary, but worth it," he said one night. Ethan nodded, but his eyes were shadowed. "My family, they'd disown me. And my job, hospitals aren't always progressive." Alex felt a pang of empathy, mixed with frustration. Why hide? But he understood. The world wasn't kind to everyone equally. A conflict arose when Alex's doctor mentioned discharge soon. Panic set in. What would happen to this fragile connection? That night, Ethan lingered longer. "I'll miss our talks," he said quietly. Alex reached for his hand. "We don't have to stop. Give me your number." Ethan froze, then pulled back. "I want to, but I'm not ready." The words hung heavy, a barrier neither could cross yet. As Ethan left, Alex wondered if this was love or just a fleeting comfort in the dark. Discharge day arrived sooner than Alex wanted. He packed his few belongings, his legs still in a cast but his spirits lifted by the prospect of freedom and the hope of seeing Ethan outside these walls. As the nurse wheeled him to the lobby, Ethan appeared, clipboard in hand. "Take care of yourself, Alex," he said, his voice steady but his eyes betraying turmoil. Alex slipped a note with his number into Ethan's pocket. "Call me, please." Back in his Chicago apartment, Alex adjusted to life on crutches. The city buzzed around him, skyscrapers piercing the sky, people rushing to jobs and dates. But his thoughts kept drifting to Ethan. Days turned to a week with no call. Alex replayed their nights, the shared vulnerabilities, the unspoken pull. Was it all in his head? He threw himself into work, designing from his couch, but the emptiness lingered. Finally, a text came. "It's Ethan. Coffee tomorrow? Lincoln Park Cafe, 2 p.m. Alex's heart soared. He arrived early, spotting Ethan at a corner table, looking out of place in jeans and a hoodie instead of scrubs. They ordered lattes, the conversation flowing easily at first. Updates on Alex's recovery, Ethan's latest shifts. But soon, the air thickened. "Why did you wait so long?" Alex asked. Ethan stirred his coffee. "I was scared. Still am." Ethan opened up more then, about his upbringing in a small Texas town where church was mandatory and differences were whispered about. His parents, devout and traditional, dreamed of him marrying a local girl, having kids. "I knew I was different in high school," he confessed. "But I buried it. Moved to Chicago for nursing school. Thought distance would help. It didn't." Alex listened, his own experiences mirroring yet contrasting. His family had been supportive, albeit awkwardly at first. "You don't have to hide forever," Alex said. Ethan met his eyes. "With you, I don't want to." Their meetings became regular, walks in the park, dinners at quiet spots. Ethan laughed more freely, his guard lowering. But shadows loomed. One evening, as they strolled by Lake Michigan, Ethan got a call from his mother. His demeanor shifted instantly, voice polite, evasive. Hanging up, he sighed. "She wants to know if I'm seeing anyone." Alex squeezed his hand. "Tell her." Ethan shook his head. "Not yet. She'd freak out." The first major conflict hit when Ethan's sister visited unexpectedly. Sarah, a bubbly teacher from Texas, stayed for a weekend. Ethan panicked, asking Alex to keep distance. "She'd tell my parents everything." Alex felt hurt, like a secret to be ashamed of. "Am I just that to you? A hidden fling?" They argued in Ethan's apartment, voices raised. "It's not about you," Ethan pleaded. "It's about them not understanding." Alex stormed out, crutches clacking angrily on the sidewalk. Days of silence followed. Alex questioned everything. Was this worth the pain? He confided in Jamie, who advised caution. "If he's not ready, you can't force it." Meanwhile, Ethan wrestled with guilt, staring at Alex's number on his phone. At work, a colleague came out casually during a break, sharing stories of acceptance. Planted a seed. Ethan showed up at Alex's door one rainy night, soaked and apologetic. "I hate hiding you. You're the best thing in my life." They talked for hours, Ethan admitting his fears of losing family, job security in a field where biases still existed. Alex shared his own past rejections, lost friends, awkward family dinners. But love shouldn't be feared, Alex said. Ethan nodded, pulling him close. It was their first real embrace outside the hospital, tentative yet profound. As weeks passed, their relationship deepened. Ethan introduced Alex to his Chicago friends as a good friend, testing waters. Reactions were mixed, support from some, curious questions from others. Society's undercurrents surfaced. A disapproving glance from a passerby when they held hands. A news story about anti-LGBT legislation in Texas. Ethan followed it closely, anxiety rising. What if my family finds out through someone else? The tension peaked at a work event. Ethan's hospital hosted a fundraiser gala. He invited Alex as a +1, but labeled him my friend from recovery. At the event, amid suits and gowns, a drunk doctor cornered Ethan. So, when are you settling down? Plenty of single nurses here. Ethan laughed it off, but Alex overheard, feeling sidelined. Later, in the parking lot, Alex confronted him. Am I ever going to be more than a friend in public? Ethan's face crumpled. I want you to be. But timing. That night, back home, Ethan made a decision. He called his sister, testing the waters with hypotheticals. What if I liked guys? Sarah paused, then said, I'd still love you, bro. But Mom and Dad. It'd be tough. It was a start, but the fear lingered. Alex, sensing Ethan's internal battle, gave him space, focusing on his own life, landing a big client, physical therapy sessions. Yet, the pull remained, a silent promise of what could be. Summer turned to fall in Chicago, leaves crunching underfoot as Alex and Ethan's relationship navigated choppy waters. They spent weekends exploring the city, art galleries, farmers markets. Moments where Ethan let his guard down, stealing kisses in quiet alleys. But the unspoken fear of naming their love cast a long shadow, manifesting in small ways. Ethan pulling his hand away in crowded areas, changing the subject when friends asked about dating. A turning point came with Ethan's birthday. Alex planned a surprise dinner at a cozy Italian spot, inviting a few mutual friends. As candles flickered, toasts were made. One friend, Mark, raised his glass. To Ethan and his mystery person, whoever's making him smile like that. Laughter erupted, but Ethan's cheeks flushed. Later, alone, he admitted, it felt good, almost saying it. Alex smiled. Then say it. To someone. Ethan promised to try, but promises clashed with reality. Ethan's parents announced a visit for Thanksgiving. Panic set in. He hadn't told them about Alex, let alone his feelings. They expect the perfect son, he said, pacing. Alex felt the sting of exclusion. What about what you expect from yourself? The argument escalated, touching on deeper issues. Ethan's internalized shame from years of suppression, Alex's impatience born from his own hard-won acceptance. The visit loomed like a storm. Ethan asked Alex to stay away, promising to come clean soon. Hurt, Alex agreed but distanced himself emotionally. During the week, Ethan's parents arrived, full of Southern charm and expectations. They toured the city, dined out, all while probing, any girls in your life? Ethan dodged, but the pressure built. One night, over dinner, his father mentioned a family friend back home. She's single, you know. Time to think about the future. Ethan nodded weakly, his mind on Alex. Meanwhile, Alex threw himself into a new project, a campaign for an LGBT rights organization. It reminded him of the stakes. Discrimination in healthcare, family estrangements. He attended a rally, feeling empowered, but alone without Ethan. That evening, he texted Ethan, "Miss you, but I can't wait forever." Ethan's reply was quick, "I know. Give me time." The parents' visit ended with a family photo Ethan posted online, smiling but hollow. Friends commented, but Alex saw the facade. Post-visit, Ethan showed up at Alex's, exhausted. It was hell pretending. They reconciled, but the rift lingered. Ethan started therapy, recommended by a colleague, to unpack his fears. Sessions revealed layers: childhood bullying, religious guilt. "I'm scared of losing everything," he told Alex. As winter approached, a societal conflict thrust them into the spotlight. A bill in Illinois aimed to protect LGBT workers in healthcare passed, but not without backlash. Ethan's hospital buzzed with opinions, some supportive, others grumbling about special treatment. One coworker, an older nurse, made snide remarks during a shift. "All this fuss over who you love. Just keep it private." Ethan stayed silent, but it ate at him. Inspired, Ethan took a small step. He came out to Mark over coffee. Mark hugged him. "About time, man. Happy for you." Boyd, Ethan shared more with Alex. It felt freeing. Their intimacy grew, not physical but emotional, late-night talks about futures, dreams of travel. But controversy brewed when Ethan's sister called, having heard rumors from a mutual friend. "Is it true? You're seeing a guy?" Ethan froze, then admitted. Sarah was supportive but warned, "Don't tell Mom and Dad yet. Let me help." The revelation sparked family drama. Sarah accidentally let slip during a call home, and chaos ensued. Ethan's phone blew up, angry voicemails from his father. "This isn't how we raised you." His mother cried, pleading for him to pray it away. Ethan crumpled, questioning everything. Alex was there, holding him as he sobbed. "They might come around," Alex said. But doubt crept in. Was their love strong enough against this tide? In the midst of turmoil, Alex faced his own challenge. His boss offered a promotion involving travel, but it meant less time together. "Take it," Ethan urged. "Don't hold back for me." But Alex hesitated, fearing it would pull them apart. They discussed it heatedly, Ethan's reluctance to commit publicly clashing with Alex's need for stability. "If we're not real, what are we?" Alex asked. Ethan had no answer. A high-stakes moment arrived at the hospital's holiday party. Ethan invited Alex openly this time. Amid twinkling lights and chatter, they arrived together. Whispers followed, but Ethan introduced Alex as "my boyfriend." The word slipped out naturally, shocking even him. Reactions varied. A pat on the back from some, awkward silences from others. But for Ethan, it was a breakthrough, a naming of the love he'd feared. Yet the night ended in conflict. The same older nurse confronted Ethan in the hallway. "Parading that around? Think about your patients." Ethan stood his ground. "My personal life doesn't affect my care." Word spread, and by morning, HR called him in for a discussion. No formal complaint, but the warning was clear: tread carefully. Alex and Ethan left the party closer, but the world felt heavier. As snow fell outside, they walked home hand in hand, defying the chill. Ethan whispered, "I love you." The words, finally spoken, warmed them both. But the battles were far from over. With the new year came resolutions and reckonings. Ethan, emboldened by his coming out at work, faced the fallout from his family. Calls from Texas were tense. His father demanding explanations, his mother sending Bible verses via text. "We're praying for you," she'd say, her voice breaking. Ethan felt torn between his roots and his truth. Alex supported him, suggesting family counseling, but Ethan resisted. "They need time, like I did." Professionally, Ethan navigated subtle shifts. Some colleagues distanced themselves, assigning him tougher shifts. Others rallied, sharing their own stories. A young intern confided in him about being bi, inspired by his courage. It reminded Ethan why visibility mattered, despite the cost. But a patient complaint added fuel. An elderly man grumbled about that gay nurse, refusing his care. The hospital mediated, but it stung, highlighting healthcare biases that persisted even in progressive Chicago. Alex's promotion took him to New York for a week, testing their bond. Distance amplified insecurities. Ethan worried Alex would meet someone unburdened by baggage. Alex fretted over Ethan's isolation. Daily calls helped, but one night Ethan broke down. "My dad cut me off financially," said, "until I fix this." Alex rushed back early, finding Ethan staring at old family photos. "You're not broken," Alex assured him. They spent the evening reminiscing, blending their pasts into a shared future. A controversial twist emerged when Ethan's ex-girlfriend from college, Lisa, reached out via social media. She'd heard the news and wanted to talk. Curious and seeking closure, Ethan met her for lunch. Lisa was kind, admitting she'd suspected. "You deserve happiness." But photos of the meetup surfaced online, tagged by a mutual friend. Alex saw them, jealousy flaring. "Why her? Are you second-guessing?" Ethan explained, but trust cracked. They argued fiercely. Alex accusing Ethan of hedging, Ethan defending his need for understanding from all sides. The fight led to a brief separation. Ethan stayed with Mark, reflecting on his journey. Therapy sessions intensified, helping him confront self-doubt. Alex, meanwhile, volunteered at an LGBT center, channeling energy into advocacy. It grounded him, reminding him of community strength. After a week, Ethan appeared at the center's event, flowers in hand. "I choose you, fully." Reconciliation was sweet, but they agreed. No more secrets. Society's conflicts amplified their personal ones. A national debate on same-sex adoption rights hit close. Ethan dreamed of kids someday, but his family's stance loomed. News of hate crimes in the Midwest shook them. A gay couple assaulted in a town like Ethan's hometown. Could that be us? Ethan wondered aloud. Alex held him. "We'll fight for better." They attended protests together, Ethan's first public activism. Holding a sign felt liberating, but exhausting. Family reconciliation attempts began. Ethan flew to Texas for a weekend, Alex's encouragement in his ear. The visit was rocky. Awkward dinners, heated discussions. His father argued scripture, but his mother hugged him tearfully. "I just want you happy." No full acceptance, but a crack in the wall. Back in Chicago, Ethan shared the mixed results. "It's progress." Alex nodded, proud but wary. As spring bloomed, their love solidified. They moved in together, a cozy apartment overlooking the lake. Mornings with coffee and kisses, evenings debating politics or watching movies. But a final controversy tested them. Ethan's hospital faced a lawsuit over discrimination. An out doctor claimed bias in promotions. Ethan was called as a witness, his own experiences relevant. Testifying meant going public, fully media coverage, family exposure. He agonized, pacing their living room. What if it ruins everything? Alex listened, then said, "What if it changes things for the better? For us, for others?" Ethan decided to speak up, detailing subtle prejudices he'd faced. The testimony made headlines locally, painting him as a whistleblower. Support poured in, letters from patients, colleagues' apologies. But backlash too. Anonymous threats online, his parents' renewed silence. The strain peaked when Ethan found a hateful note at work. Shaken, he questioned his choices. Is naming this love worth the hate? Alex, ever steadfast, reminded him of their hospital nights. "We started in silence. Don't go back." They sought counseling together, strengthening their resolve. In the aftermath, Ethan's family reached out tentatively. His sister mediated a video call. Awkward, but honest. His father admitted, "I don't understand, but you're my son." It wasn't perfect, but healing began. Ethan felt lighter, his heart no longer fearing the name. Their story, once confined to whispers, now inspired quiet changes. Ethan mentored young nurses. Alex designed pro-LGBT campaigns. Love, named and claimed, proved resilient. As summer returned, Alex and Ethan's life settled into a rhythm of normalcy laced with ongoing challenges. Mornings started with shared runs along the lakeshore, Ethan's nursing shifts balanced by Alex's creative deadlines. They hosted dinners for friends, where Ethan proudly introduced Alex as his partner, the word rolling off his tongue with ease. But echoes of past fears resurfaced in unexpected ways. A judgmental stare at a pride parade, a news alert about rising anti-LGBT sentiment in conservative states. One evening, over wine on their balcony, Ethan reflected. "Remember that first night in the hospital? I was just doing my job." Alex smiled. "And now?" Ethan took his hand. Now you're my everything. Their bond, forged in vulnerability, had weathered storms, but society's undercurrents persisted. Ethan's testimony led to hospital policy changes, mandatory diversity training, better protections. He became a quiet advocate, speaking at panels, his story resonating with others in hiding. Family ties mended slowly. Ethan's parents visited Chicago, a tentative step. Dinner was stiff at first, polite questions about Alex's work, avoided topics. But as the evening wore on, his mother shared old photos, including one of young Ethan in a nurse costume for Halloween. Laughter broke the ice. His father, gruff but trying, admitted, "We were wrong to react that way." No full embrace of their relationship, but acknowledgement. Ethan cried later, relief washing over him. A final conflict arose with Alex's family. His parents, supportive from afar, pushed for a visit. "Bring Ethan home," his mom insisted. The trip to Ohio was eye-opening. Warm welcomes contrasted with subtle rural biases. A neighbor's offhand comment about city lifestyles sparked tension. Ethan handled it gracefully, but it reminded them. Acceptance wasn't universal. On the drive back, Alex said, "We've come far." Ethan agreed, but added, "There's always more to fight." Their love evolved, deepening through shared trials. They discussed marriage casually. Rings, vows, but Ethan hesitated, memories of family expectations lingering. Someday, he promised. Alex understood. Patience had become their strength. Instead, they focused on the present, volunteering together, planning trips. A weekend in New York reignited Alex's passion for design, while Ethan found solace in helping at a free clinic. Controversy flared nationally with a Supreme Court case on LGBT rights. Protests erupted, and they joined, chanting for equality. Ethan, once fearful, spoke to a crowd. His voice steady, story powerful. Media picked it up. An article featured them as a couple overcoming odds. Backlash followed, hate mail, online trolls, but support outweighed it. Friends rallied, community enveloped them. In quiet moments, doubts crept in. Ethan wondered if he'd dragged Alex into unnecessary pain. "You could have someone easier." Alex shook his head. "I want you, all of you." Their choices, to love openly, to challenge norms, sparked debates among friends. Some admired their resilience. Others questioned the risks. As the story of their love unfolded, it became a testament to the power of naming what the heart knows. From hospital bedside to shared home, Ethan's fear had transformed into courage, Alex's patience into unwavering support. But in a world still divided, their journey posed a lingering question. Was it right for Ethan to hide his love initially, or should he have embraced it from the start, regardless of the consequences?